Hi guys, hope you're doing well. So today I want to talk about Paris again, and this is about my second day in Paris when I, for the very first time in my life, saw the Eiffel Tower up close and went up in it as well. I had heard that lines at Eiffel Tower and in other Paris places could be like hours, 3-4 hours even. So I had booked it online, and it's easy to buy, and it's slightly cheaper to buy as well, from what I remember. And then my friend Cheryl told me that it's better to go in the morning because one of her friends went early in the morning, like 9 o'clock, with the first slot. So let me explain that. The Eiffel Tower has 3 floors. So there's the first floor, there's the second floor, and then there's the summit. So there's nothing between the second and the summit. And you get the ticket to go up in the lift, and you can buy a ticket to go up to the second floor, or you can buy a ticket to go all the way up to the summit, which is of course more expensive. And so I had bought the ticket for the summit for 1 o'clock, and they give you like half an hour slots in which you would have access to the lift and then go up in that. So I had booked for between 1 and 1:30 because being lazy, I thought like, yeah, I'll get up late and then go easy. But then when Cheryl told me that her friend went in the morning and there was nobody there, it's like, yeah, that's good. That's really good for the photos, and then you can look around as much as you want. So this was a Sunday, and Sundays are slightly less crowded there anyway. So then, being the very careful spender that I'm not. I bought another ticket, which was for 9 o'clock in the morning on that same day, and I used only one of them, the first one. And when I got there, I was very excited. That is, I got there even before 9 o'clock, like 8:20 or something. And then I was standing in the queue, maybe like 8-10 people in front of me only at that time. I could not take enough photos there. It was like from below, this part, that pillar, all the north pillar, south pillar, all of those. I was taking pictures of everything. And then suddenly I realized, what's that? That says avec billet. So I knew avec, my French was good, so I knew that avec means with. So with tickets means, well, I have a ticket. So then I walked from this line to that line, and I was like third in the line. So that was much better. And then they opened right on the dot at 9 o'clock, and went upstairs across the security and everything. So there are two different levels of elevators. There's one that goes from the ground to the first floor and the second floor, and these ones are within the pillars themselves, within the body of the, well, they're all in the body, but these are in the bottom pillars, and they go diagonally inside the foot of the Eiffel Tower. So first floor was okay. Second floor was slightly better because you can see more around there. And then on second floor, you change the elevator. You go to the other elevator, which goes straight up, and that will go from this second floor all the way to the summit.
Deuxième étage, tout le monde descend s'il vous plaît. Changement ascenseur pour monter au sommet. Is a second floor here, you have to change the...
And then I had taken my zoom lens, the 70-300 mm, which would have been very useful there if I had not left it somewhere. So at that point I realized, like, where's my backpack? So then I remembered I never took the backpack back after I went through the X-ray. Well, I didn't go through the X-ray, so I went to the security, put the backpack on the conveyor belt, and then went through, and I just walked on. And this was where nobody knew my language. But it was easy. I found somebody and told them what had happened, because generally you just go in one direction, you don't go back down. And then the lady said, like, I said, okay, well, I will come back, and then after I come back from the summit, then I'll pick it back up. And she said, no, no, you go down now and pick up your backpack, because it's a security issue, the unowned, unclaimed piece of baggage. So she sent me back with an empty elevator. So shoot, as much as you want, all the windows are open, no crowds. So I went up, then down, and then got my backpack. They even asked me what's in it, to identify it, and I was like, yeah, there's a lens there, there's something like this, there's a batteries and all. Okay, so check, yep, okay, here you go. And it was so good that I actually got it back, because my telephoto lens was in there, and I would have kicked myself if I had not had that when I went up to the summit. One of my fears there was that because it's such a tall building, what, 1,000 feet, 1,000 meters? I think it's 1,000 meters. Because it's such a tall tower, and there's a lift to go up there, so I kind of worried that it might be a very fast lift. I'm not afraid of heights, okay? I just have a healthy respect for heights. That's all. If I'm in a tall building, it's not like I'm going to start screaming or have vertigo or get giddy or anything, get dizzy or anything. I would not. But if you put me on a terrace where there is no balcony, where there's no railing, or very short railing, very low railing, I would not go too close to the edge. So I have a healthy respect for heights. As somebody said, I am not afraid of water, I'm afraid of drowning. Similarly, I'm not afraid of the heights, I'm just afraid of the falling. But also, I don't like the roller coasters, that whole sensation of like that. Don't like that very much. So I was worried about that. There was one time when we did a corporate video shoot on Halloween for a company, for a law firm in London, and they had a tall building, and the shoot was on like 13th or 14th floor, and their lift was awful. So even going up, it went up very quickly, very sharp, but it was coming down. It was like a roller coaster. Definitely a roller coaster feeling, very scary. We actually left something on the floor, on the 13th floor, and I didn't want to go back for it even. Somebody else went and brought it back. Usually I'm very lazy. I like to take the lift everywhere I go, but that lift didn't like it. So I was worried that the Eiffel Tower lift might be that kind of a fast and dizzy making lift, because it is even taller than the 13th floor. But thankfully it was not. So the lift does move because it has to go a long distance, but it takes its time going there, not very slow, but comfortable slow. So, well, like a normal lift. Normal kind of slow kind of lift, not a law firm kind of lift. So if you are the kind of person who is afraid of the roller coasters and things like this, then I think you should be reassured that no issues there. The lift is very nice and comfortable, and it's not huge, but I think it takes about 20 people maybe. So therefore, geez, I'm just full of information. I don't even remember whether there were 2 lifts or 4 lifts. I think there were 2 lifts. But yeah, you have queues and everything is very orderly. And once you get up there, that is the once in a lifetime kind of experience. You can see so far, and you can, because the Paris sights are also fantastic. So you have the Seine River below you. You can see the little those cruise ships in there. You can see the roads. You can see those bridges on the Seine so far. And then there is this little hidden island, which I will talk about in another video properly, but it's called Île aux Cygnes. But you can see the pictures from the Eiffel Tower, and there is a statue at the edge of that as well, which I photographed. I photographed pretty much every single thing that I could see, and you can imagine that I used that telephoto lens to death. Not literally to death, but I used it a lot from all around. So I'm sure you would know. If you don't know, the Eiffel Tower was a temporary tower. It was supposed to be a temporary building, a structure which was for an expo in 1890, I think it was, yeah. And this t-shirt says something like, 1889, yeah. So it was built in 1889 for the expo, which was in 1890, and it was supposed to be there for only a few years. But they found that the top of the Eiffel Tower is really a good place to stick a radio antenna. So it is still, to this day, it's used for radio reception for radio antenna. So that's why it's still standing there. So you don't go up to the antenna part, but you go just below that on the balcony around there. There are a couple of floors there as well. In the summit, there are 2 floors up and down, and you can be inside, you can be outside on the balcony. And there's a mesh grill. So there's a mesh. What do you call it? Like a protection, so you can't actually jump from there or fall off. So I felt safe that way. But the mesh is good enough that you can actually put the camera right next to it and take pictures of things below. So I did took a lot of photos there, which you can see, and I took some videos. I did even a live video for my Facebook friends from there. I'll see if I can find that. That was pretty good. I was like, I went crazy there. I enjoyed it so much. So I can show you some pictures from there. And one of the joys was that I could take a picture of Plaza Trocadero from Eiffel Tower, because the day before I had taken a picture of Eiffel Tower from Plaza Trocadero. So there was like a reverse, and then the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. That was pretty cinematic. And Il Signe. So all those things. So I took as many pictures as I could, from every direction, every angle, everything, zooming into things as well. Something just ridiculous, like a bus, the top of a bus, but the top of the bus was full of people. So things like that. And then I don't know how much time I spent there, but at least about an hour or so I spent there. And then came back down to the second floor, and then came back by the lift to the second floor, and then walked down by the stairs to the first floor. And on the first floor they have a restaurant which you cannot get a reservation in. I tried 1 month before, and the only reservation possible was like 4 months in advance or something like that. So that's ridiculous. Very expensive, but still very busy. But you can assume that it's an iconic building. It's an amazing place, and it's world famous. Thousands of people go there every day. So won't be possible to get reservations there. But there are other places there, like ice cream places and all kinds of fish and chips as well, I think. But I don't eat fish, so I don't remember. But there were other places where I could have a sandwich and water and things like that, and coffee. So food, of course, is good in France. This is like a stereotype of France, but it's a true stereotype that food there is really nice. So yeah, I hung around there on the first floor quite a long time, and then I walked down the stairs. On the first floor, there's this glass floor, but it's not a full floor like the bridge in China. It's not like that scary. It's just a small bit which is transparent, but also in that transparency there's a pattern of black dots. So it's not as scary, but it is a floor made of glass. So if you are adventurous but not that adventurous to go to China, then you can stand on that and take the feel. And you can see people from there, and they look so small, tiny, like ants, and fantastic. So I did all of that, stood there. It was scary for the kids. There were some children who were finding that a little bit scary, the floor thing. So it was an adventure for, at least for children. Yeah, and I went into, there's a little apartment where Gustave Eiffel, who built this thing, he used to live there. So there is a TV show as well about Eiffel Tower, like a projector thing, which was quite good. So I watched all of that, hung around as much as I could, and then finally walked down to the ground. And then I walked around and then took more pictures of Eiffel Tower from every angle as I kept walking further. And then there was one picture which I would call my bucket shot for the Paris trip. But then I will show you next time, because that I think deserves its own episode. But yeah, that whole day was dedicated to Eiffel Tower, and it was unforgettable. And I would definitely want to go again and even visit the summit again sometime. Yeah, that's all there is. There's nothing, not a lot that I can tell you, which is mind-boggling or anything like that. But I needed to talk this long so that I could show you all these pictures that I took. Took so many pictures from the Eiffel Tower and on the Eiffel Tower. And one picture that, a couple of pictures that I will show you. These will also feature in a future episode, which I will call, what would I call it? I would call it the Paris walk. This was a specific walk on a specific route, so you can see the Louvre, you can see the Luxor obelisk, and you can see the Arc de Triomphe. And I will talk about that in another episode as well. There's so much to talk about because Paris is just legendary. So yeah, but for now I will finish here. I hope you enjoyed the photos, and if you have any questions about that, just let me know in comments. Let me know what you thought about it, and please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.